On NFL Primetime, will the greatest show be 0-2? Ricky's got the green light in Indy, while Gruden sends a message loud and clear. Did the Bears pull out another win? Would Brady's bunch continue to amaze? The Cards attempt to ruffle the Seahawks feathers, while the Cowboys may have found their D in Dallas. Dallas tries to pack a punch for Green Bay, as Carr attempts to breeze past the Chargers. Let those Bills show Moss who's boss? Would the Niners be a treat in San Francisco? NFL Primetime. Next.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Week 2 of NFL Primetime. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson. Boy, after Week 1, Tom, hard to imagine anything could match up to that.
Yeah, but we got some surprises this week.
Oh, absolutely.
We got some surprises.
But if you think of football matching up to Week 1, really nothing could match up to the man that we lost this week. Arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, a man that changed the position forever, even though he played almost a half a century ago, and that's number 19, Johnny Unitas. And, Tommy, you got your black high tops on?
Yeah.
I got mine on. Got them on. There's no rule against that. We can do that. And we're doing that right here as we go to Baltimore, where Johnny U was just revered, as well he should be. And so the Ravens were at home today against the Bucs, and Unitas we stand, the band forming number 19 on the field. Their hearts out to the Unitas family. Lenny Moore, among the many Hall of Famers that played with Johnny U. Impression of his jersey on the field. The cleats that he wore so beautifully in Baltimore, and there they were as Johnny Unitas in the 50s and the first 3,000-yard man and the 40,000 yards overall. Chris Redmond, knowing that there would be perhaps a fight, wearing the black cleats. He's a Louisville guy like Unitas. Meanwhile, with the score 3-0 Tampa Bay special teams, they can't return a kick for a touchdown, but Carl the Truth Williams can make moves like this. And David Zastudo, the punter, and treat him like Zastudo, like a wet noodle, and it's 10-0 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, arrow here on Ryan Day Barber. He takes on 6'4", 255-pound John Jones. You saw him put him on his back.
Jamal Lewis, it's a fumble. Ribbon, and it's off the pylon. So that's a safety. And so Tampa Bay gets 2 points. Brian Billick, now, it's not the offense that he envisioned all year, and it might be seen it all year. Then Derek Brooks, one of the great linebackers in the game, could go all the way. 96 yards for number 55, Derek Brooks. The defense scores a touchdown. John Gruden gets the shower from Keyshawn as his first win as Bucs coach, and the Bucs shut out the Ravens 25-0, so they get special teams touchdown. They get a safety. They get a defensive touchdown and 3 field goals. So the offense not scoring, but when you don't give up any, that's okay.
And Brad Johnson, a good job of protecting the football and doing a good job of spreading the ball around to his receivers offensively.
Meanwhile, the team with the name that Johnny U so starred for from 56 to the early 70s in a moment of silence on the field, and Peyton Manning quite close to Johnny Unitas among those observing it. Meanwhile, Miami in town, they've had their way against the Colts lately. Jay Fiedler, a bootleg on a 1-yard touchdown. He would hit Conrad, so they're up 14-3 in the second. And then look at Ricky Williams. The power, the agility, and the speed, Tom.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that surprised the Colts, is you saw him going down the sideline. He's literally outrunning their defensive back. They get him by the shoestrings right there to save a touchdown.
And then 3 plays later, they play action to Williams. He's right there, and ba-boom. He's in the end zone, 21-3 Miami. My goodness, they're all of a sudden a touchdown machine now.
And this is what Ricky Williams makes you do. The Colts bring 9 people to the box thinking about the run. You get the great play action fake back to the weak side after the motion. Ricky Williams with the catch, and then just powering his way right into the end zone.
So late in the first half, a couple of deflected balls for interceptions off of Peyton Manning, and then into the end zone, triple coverage, and Patrick Surtain makes certain that he comes down with this. 8 interceptions last 3 games for Manning against the Miami Dolphins. Surtain did sprain his knee on the play and did not return, but it's 21-3. Could Manning lead a, well, Unitas-esque comeback. Marvin Harrison couldn't stay in to go in the end zone, but he hauls us in down to the 2, so you figure they're in business. First down, Edger and James. Second down, Edger and James. Third down, Edger and James. Not in. What do you do on fourth down, Tony? Imagination, where? We're going to try 4 times with Edger and James. Not in. What a goal line stand by Dave Wannstedt's Miami Dolphins. Keeping the score at 21-3. 9.5 to go. Now the Colts score. Manning to Marvin Harrison. Then they add a field goal. It's 21-13. Down by 8. Could Manning evoke the memories of that number 19 who wears the same horseshoe helmet? Well, they run draw plays with no timeouts to enter it. Another one, they need to pick up yards, but this is one I think they would like back. A short little underneath pattern. It's to Harrison. It's complete. But tick, 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 tick. Troy Walters, get out. Get out. He does. Stopping the clock with 19 seconds to go. Manning to Kadri Ismail. But there's nowhere to run. He can't get out. He can't stop the clock. Tick, 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 tick. They finally do it 2 seconds to go. So maybe a couple different plays. They might have had 2 cracks at a time. But they do have one. And it's knocked away by Brock Marion. A fine play defending the missile, Kadri Ismail. And Miami holds on to defeat the Colts in a rally late 21-13. Ricky Williams had 132 yards for Miami. Edger and James ran for 138 for the Colts. But really, some of the talk this week centered on Peyton Manning, who ordered sets of high-top cleats, black high-tops. The NFL said you have to petition the league way ahead of time. You can't wear them. He was disappointed.
I'm disappointed. I would like to have done it. Johnny was always super nice to me the times I was around him. He was one of my father's childhood heroes, and so I realized the importance he had on the game of football and a lot of people's lives. So it was my way to honor him and to pay a tribute to him. At the same time, I never wanted it to be a distraction to my team and to my teammates. And with the league ruling that I wouldn't be allowed to do it, it was becoming a distraction.
Well, we understand that, but the league missed the boat a little bit here, and I don't want to belabor the point, but you know what I would have liked? I would have liked an 8- or 9-year-old kid watching Peyton Manning play football, asking his father, Dad, why is Peyton Manning wearing those black shoes that look very high that nobody wears? And his dad would have put his arm around his son and said, or daughter, and say, let me tell you a little bit about Johnny Unitas. We missed a chance a little bit, perhaps, to educate those younger who really knew not of the great Johnny U. I think that's where the league got a little too literal with their rules. But let's put that aside. Manning tried as he will, but the Miami Dolphins, Tommy, they've played 2 games. They've scored 10 touchdowns. Orlando Mari missed the field goal. I mean, it's like backwards for Miami. Man, they look like a different squad.
Well, think about the Dallas Cowboys of the early 90s. You've got Dave Wannstedt. You've got the coaching staff right there, Norv Turner, offensive coordinator. This resembles that team, and that's tonight's TJ's extra point. You take a look at this football team. The similarities are uncanny. As you watch them, again, mention Norv Turner there, offensive coordinator now. Dave Wannstedt, the head coach with Miami. The screen plays that we so got used to with the Dallas Cowboys, you see some of those same things with the Miami Dolphins. The double screen. When Norv Turner was coaching that football team, Emmitt Smith, a big part of that game. Fiedler to McMichael, the tight end down the middle of the field. Remember Aikman and Novacek. Every time he needed to move the chains, Novacek was the guy that you wanted to do it. Here, Fiedler to Chris Chambers down the seam. Aikman, Michael Irvin across the middle. Those things haven't changed. Ricky Williams, Emmitt Smith, big, strong, solid offensive line in front of a power running back. I think when you look at what they have tried to create, they've recreated the Dallas Cowboys offensively, and that's not a bad thing when you think about the early 90s.
So we already knew that Miami could play some defense, and now if they're going to score touchdowns.
That's correct.
And look at the confidence Fiedler's playing with.
Yes. Well, he's going to do that if Ricky Williams is running the ball the way he's running. to start this season, the first 2 games. Because I talked to them, they said it opens up the middle of the football field for him.
We can see that on this day. So the Miami Dolphins with a very impressive 2-0 start. When we return. Tom, there were 3 monitors as we watched the games. The Bengals, the Ravens, and the Lions. We could watch them all at the same time. It was ridiculous. Tim Couch, elbow not ready, or they said his elbow isn't ready. Kelly Holcomb, he looked continue to be ready. Touchdown for Cleveland. Holcomb to Andre Davis, 10-0 over Cincinnati. Gus Frerotte, oh my God. Tom, not only did Frerotte try to throw it lefty, the only thing he did here was make a tackle left. I mean, these are the Bengals. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I can't candy coat it. This was pathetic.
Well, certainly he had motivation to catch Kennard Lang, but you can see right here you have to make a good decision with the football. Take that sack. You're down where you're going to score. You've got a possibility of getting a field goal. You ruin that, and that's what Gus Frerotte is feeling right there on the sideline.
So then Kelly Holcomb from the 8 to Kevin Johnson. Touchdown, 17-0 Cleveland in their home opener at the half. Then Frerotte spikes the ball to stop the clock, but watch this. They flag on the play. Why? Because TJ, you say Hushmanzada, I say Hushmanzada. He took off his helmet. So you know that's
it's unbelievable after last week.
So that killed the drive. 2 plays later, Frerotte in trouble. Mark Ward's going to take him down for a sack. But then watch this. He's all excited. Goes to the Cleveland sideline. Oh, I'm psyched, and my helmet is off. Which Davis is part? You got to be kidding me. Does nobody in the state of Ohio get the rule, Tom? I don't get it.
I get it.
The Butch just put it up, just put it on. And I think you get the feel of how this game went. Cleveland won it by the count of 20-7. And maybe Holcomb will be, Couch will be heard another week.
Rule 12, Section 3, Article 1, letter E. Keep it on.
Well, it wasn't a home opener for Cleveland. They wish it was, because remember last week Kansas City got the 40 points on the play afterwards. It's a home opener for the Chiefs, and of course they were taking dead aim at Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Brunell was taking aim at Jimmy Smith. You know what? When Brunell and Smith and Fred Taylor are there, this team can play. Right. They missed the PAT, but that touchdown ties it at 6. Fourth quarter, we're tied at 9. Brunell to Patrick Johnson. And he could go all the way. 79 yards. The Jags lead at Kansas City. Always a tough place to win. 16-9. And Tommy, one-on-one coverage.
Eric Warfield is on the coverage outside. The safety, Jason Belzer, is coming over. You can see how late Jason Belzer is getting over. Patrick Johnson is off to the races down the sideline. That's just a go route for a touchdown.
And then we mentioned Fred Taylor. Look at the cut, boy, when he's healthy. Look at it, gone. He's just gone. It's 63 yards. Fred Taylor gives the Jags a 2-touchdown lead, 23-9. Taylor ran for 114. Next possession, Trent Green trying to make something happen. And at first they said Tony Gonzalez had a bounce. But what an acrobatic catch, Tom. And they challenged, reviewed, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it was great footwork by Tony Gonzalez at the back of the end zone.
But, you know, sometimes this is a show that we can show you these things. 3rd and 2, under 3 to go, and Taylor gets the tough yards as well. That 4-yard run gave him a first down, and Jacksonville, when those guys are there, they can play. They win it 23-16. Brunell threw for 320 yards. And Jacksonville had 450 yards of offense in the game. Meanwhile, can the Carolina Panthers go 2-0 under John Fox and Rodney Peete at quarterback? Rodney Peete, 36-year-old, 14-year veteran, facing Mike McMahon, the Lions. Now, this is Detroit, Carolina. A reminder that it was Detroit against the Whalers/Hurricanes. It was Detroit, Carolina in hockey. Suffice it to say, it was more exciting than this. Unless you were a Panther fan. Rodney Peete to Muhsin Muhammad, 22 yards, 10-0 Carolina. 10-0 Carolina. They won in 15 last year.
Yeah, and that's the way Julius Peppers wants it. He's the end up top under the arrow, and look at the power as he comes right through 2 blockers, the tackle and the running back, and gets a piece of Mike McMahon. And then Julius Peppers again. We got him under the arrow. He's going to come all the way around the tackle, circle around wide, but again, he keeps coming, and he's going to get another sack. And then McMahon scrambling, and watch the hit. Watch the hit by Julius Peppers right there from the backside. That's all about hustling, continuing to the football. Good things are going to happen.
McMahon, not good things for him. He was down 6 sacks in the day, 3 by the rookie, Julius Peppers. Meanwhile, Rodney Peete to Lamar Smith, the ex-Dolphin, down to the 19-yard line. That's a 58-yard pickup. And then Smith from the 3 Touchdown, 17-7, Carolina. Mike McMahon. Pass deflected. Picked off by Mike after dinner Minter. When he's on the pillow, you know it's over. He's gone. 24-7. The Carolina Panthers are, look at this, they roll 31-7. 310 yards, the first 300-yard passing day in 10 years for Rodney Peete. The Panthers last summer and this summer are the boys of summer. Saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. They're 3-0. However, when they play football more often in the fall and winter, that's when they've had some trouble. At 8:30 Eastern.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
The Chicago Bears last week picked up where they left off. Another last-minute win. Could they beat Mike Vick? Starting at home at the Georgia Dome, sold up. Brian Urlacher had his sights set on Vick. It was an excellent battle. Look at Vick, pull it back, then throw it to Warwick. A nice throw. 10-yard touchdown. And Atlanta at home leads at 7-0. Second quarter. The A-train, Anthony Thomas up the middle. Top. My imagination, or was there a lot of room there?
Well, you almost thought there were 10 players. You look in the middle of the field, the only guy there is one of the referees. And with nobody in the middle, Bears run it right where they're supposed to. A-train. Only thing that's going to stop it is the official, boom.
I don't think that was the setup for Wade Phillips, defensive coordinator of the Falcons. Jim Miller, David Terrell. Caught a ball last week, but it was the winning touchdown. Caught a ball this week, was another touchdown. And the Bears go up 14-10. Earlier on Countdown, remember this morning, Mike Vick explained how he'll deal with Brian Urlacher.
This is going to look like. You're going to go heads up, and I'm going to end up on top of him, and I might just even stand on top of him like that. I might just sit on him.
I was talking to his ex-teammate, now with us a little bit, Jamal Anderson. So with the score 14-13, Urlacher does the sitting, and he jumps over a blocker to hurry a throw by Vick. Then look at the speed of Urlacher. How's this, Tom? And you know, Vick is not exactly slow, okay? 4 minutes to go. Vick, now watch this play by Vick. He evades the same guy twice and whoop! Tipped into the hands of your cousin, Willie Jackson. But first they call catch, then they go to the peep show, and they say the ball hit the turf to the chagrin of Dan Reeves, negating a 42-yard pickup. 3rd and 20. Obviously a passing play. Tom, here's Urlacher.
And what you love about him right here, he misses Vick the first time. He goes back and gets him the second time. He is as quick a linebacker as you'll see in this league.
And then last chance, 2 minutes ago, Vick, quarterback draw. He's not too slow himself. 19 yards. Moments later for the win. Jay, see me, really, Missy, Lucy. The Bears, I mean, they do it again. They win another one-pointer or a last second or whatever. And the Bears beat the Falcons 14-13. Chicago had 4 sacks.
Yeah, and that game plan of the Bears, we're going to run the ball. We're going to throw it a minimal amount of times. You just love the game plan. We're going to play great defense. It's what wins in this league.
Urlacher almost 30 tackles, Tommy, in 2 games. Packers at the Saints. Brett Favre, this is the one dome that they win in. Won the Super Bowl, remember? Of course you remember. As we reminded Bill this morning. Beat the Patriots in the 1996 Super Bowl, Super Bowl 31. Won 2 regular season games there. Grew up, of course, just over the border in Mississippi. But a fumble by not Green. Cedric Hodge falls on it. Saints ball. They're up 7-3. One-time Packer backup Aaron Brooks. The dart to Jerome Pathon. 14-3 Saints. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half. Pass tip caught by Dante Stallworth, and look at him go. You think he can run? Whoop! Into the end zone, 21-3. And what about the block that sprung it, Tom?
Well, you watch this block, and what's unusual is that it comes from the center spot. Fontenot right there comes out, gets the angle on the corner, Antoine Edwards, and knocks him down right there, and Stallworth off to the races.
57 seconds left in the first half. The Saints ball up 21-3. But Brooks off back foot, picked off by Darren Sharper. It's an image that Brooks didn't want. Down to the 14-yard line, at least Darren stepped in to make the play. The Favre on this day hooked up with Terry Glenn 9 times. Here's a 14-yarder for a touchdown, so 21-3, now 21-10. How many times have you seen Brett Favre do it? And Favre is tied On this day, Johnny Unitas for 290 career touchdown passes, 5th all-time. 3rd quarter. Favre to Glenn, but Fakir Brown forces a fumble. Keo Craver craves the ball and the end zone. Penalties on the Pack. It's a touchdown, Saints. 28-10. Later 3rd. Favre trying to make it happen to Donald Duke and the driver. 26-yard touchdown. Now, Brett past the great Johnny U. Tied with Warren Moon. More on that later. 28-17. But a fumble snap. Charlie Clemens, the big man. Favre says they were in the neutral zone. I think that's kind of what it's a 28-20 game. Ace. Deuce McAllister. 62 yards. Down to the 5. He had 123 running very hard. Had a 50-plus yard run negated by a penalty where he would have been close to 200. And the New Orleans Saints have beat the Packers 35-20. The Saints, who of all the contending teams last year, Tom, looked the worst in December. I don't mean the Carolinas, but I mean a good team. They were looking awful. A lot of changes, and Jim Haslett's squad is 2-0 with a couple of impressive wins.
Well, a football team that's been retooled in a lot of areas when you think about what they lost up front. Joe Johnson, Leroy Glover on their defensive line, Ricky Williams, their Heisman Trophy running back. I think that when you look at what they've added with Wally Williams, Fontenot, Deuce McAllister, I think was the key here. And I think that Coach Haslett knew that he was going to be an effective runner and give him more out of the passing game than maybe he was going to get from Ricky Williams. But a lot of credit here for what they did. They pressured Brett Favre, and they stopped Armand Green. He only had 71 yards today.
I told you the NFC South would be terrible.
Yeah.
New Orleans 2-0, Carolina 2-0. And New Orleans won at Tampa, and they beat the Packers. That's a very impressive start. But impressive as Brett Favre now climbs up the ladder towards 300 career touchdown passes. We told you that he passed and tied the great Johnny Unitas, the late great Johnny U, and he's now tied with Warren Moon for 4th, just 9 shy of 300, which would tie him for 3rd with John Elway.
Inside the Numbers. Brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
When we return, they're at Pittsburgh at the bottom of the hour in Sunday Night Football. Last week, the Dallas Cowboys, a low point. One of the low points in a very storied history of their franchise. This time, Quincy Carter and the Cowboys losing to Houston play the old Houston team. Now the Tennessee Titans of Steve McNair. McNair had a day on and off the field. Watch this push, and they couldn't stop. Oh, man. And he's had the bad back. He leaves with a minor concussion, but he would stay in play. He, obviously a tough customer. That just was brutal. Second half, he was back. The Titans led it 10-7. Dexter Coakley, the quick linebacker for the Cowboys, hurt. And so McNair goes to his spot, hitting Derek Mason. They hooked up a lot today. 19 yards. But Coakley back the very next play, and he was back with a vengeance. There he is, and keep an eye on Darren Woodson. He makes the hit on McNair. Coakley makes the pick, and he could go all the way. 52 yards. How about the Cowboys? They lead 14-10.
And you see how much both of these teams wanted this game. McNair was out. He came back. Dexter Coakley here off the tip by Woodson. He comes back running pretty good for a guy with a hip contusion there.
Very good. Quincy Carter. Antonio Bryant. He catches it. 44 yards. Later on the drive, and Joey Galloway sighted. Look at Quincy with the lead in a play action. He looks like a different guy here. Between defenders for a touchdown to Galloway, and the Cowboys win it 21-13. They can't beat the new Houston team, so they beat the old Houston team. And, kind of a thud for the Titans after their big win against Philadelphia. Carter threw for 240. Emmett got 59 yards in the game. The Patriots at the Jets. Their season really headed north. when they won at the Meadowlands last year after being down 13-0 at the half. Tom Brady to Troy Brown and
Band of renown.
14 yards. Tom Brady to Troy Brown, who makes a wonderful play to the 5, to the wow, he's almost in. It's a fumble to the Jets figure. It's raining hard. We got a break. We're in business. Not so. Brady, Baker burst to Brandt, to David Pat. 39 yards, Tom, a little trickery.
Well, watch the reverse here, and watch what it does to the safeties in the deepest part of the field. You see Sam Garnes right there starting to move on the football. And the thing about this play, Patton doesn't continue to the middle of the field. He kind of seams the route right there between hash mark and numbers, gives the quarterback a place to throw the football.
Defensive coordinator Teddy Cottrell not pleased. He'd be less pleased when Cam Cleveland, one of 3 tight ends that the Patriots have who are weapons, catches Brady's pass. They lead 10-0 at the half. And he says, oh, lucky to Bucky Jones with the hat-trick from Connecticut. He makes the hit, the sack, the fumble recovery, and the touchdown. This is the longest running play of the day for the Jets. Bad news for them, it's the punter. Matt Turk, 14 yards, outrushed Curtis Martin and everyone else. He hit the field, and New England's playing defense. One bright spot, these moves by Santana Moss. It's a 40-yard gain, 4 minutes left in the third. But at 4 minutes left in the third, it's the first wideout reception of the day. Victor Green was a Jet. He's now a Pat, and he could go all the way. He probably picked Vinny off in practice the last 2 years. 90 yards, 27-0 Patriots. Brady to the second-round pick, Deion Branch from Louisville. How did this guy go? 49 yards. Man, more weapons than the Patriots had last year, that's for sure.
And watch Branch come out of his break right there on Donnie Abraham. He freezes him to the outside, comes through, and boy, can he run.
He fooled Abraham, Martin, and John on that play. Now 44-7, Chad Morton, the hero last week, Pepper Johnson, Patriots coach, former Jet. Don't tell me he's making, they're that good.
Old linebackers, they want to make plays.
Coaches are making the tackles. New England Patriots, a 1-point underdog. Don't ask why. Went into the Meadowlands, sliced and diced the Jets 44-7. They've won 11 straight dating back to last year. Tom Brady, do you think you finally have some respect?
I don't know, do we? I don't care. It is. And that's,
Does that drive you guys?
There's always a little chip on our shoulder. I think every time we go out, we realize we have to prove it. But, you're only as good as your last performance, And we do the stuff that our coaches teach us. And if we get respect, we want to earn the respect, And that does it by winning world championships. We earned respect last year. And if we didn't, then I guess people are, like I said, just too ignorant to, just too stupid to realize it.
Well, I am not. Listen. The Patriots next week are home against Kansas City. I'm going to make the Chiefs a 6-point favorite. Did you like that? I mean, look, they've won 11 in a row dating to before Thanksgiving, Tom.
Well, they've got a lot of flexibility offensively, defensively. We both talked about the fact that when Bill Belichick brings in all those former Jets, he brings them in because they know his system. And defensively, they are the only defense right now dictating to the opposing offense. And I don't think anybody right now has got it figured out.
I'll tell you what else. Their weapons, as we showed right there, it's night and day from last year.
Right.
The speed they had, wide out with the addition of Branch, all the tight ends.
And everybody wondered about Tom Brady.
Oh,
is he for real?
Please.
I think he's for real.
He wins. He wins. He gets it. He's game entropy. Everything new. New unis, new conference, and a new stadium. Well, look at that, Tom. New stadium in Seattle. Seahawks Stadium right next to the Kingdome. And Trent Dilfer, all he's done is winning his last 15 starts, 4-0 last year as a Seahawk. He makes his first start of the year, and he swings to Darrell Jackson. 10-yard gain down to the 4. They're playing their new NFC West foe, Arizona. Dilfer to Itulamili. And it's a 10-3 Seattle lead. Third quarter. Thomas Jones. We've been waiting for him for a while. but it's 58 yards, a touchdown which ties the game at 10.
Yeah, and you're Thomas Jones, and you turn this corner, and you see David Boston out in front of you. And just look at the size and the speed. If we can get a glimpse of him out front, what a great block he threw to spring in.
With Seattle leading 13-10 after the field goals, this is Marte Jenkins. Marte Ote, 95 yards. The Cardinals have grabbed the lead, 17-13. 3.5 to go. Jake Plummer to Frank Sanders. And Arizona has gone up to Seattle. The Seahawks have started 0-2. And the Cardinals, who haven't played a home game yet, are even though Jake Plummer under 50% of his passes. But they went on the road, spoiling the Seahawks opener. Texans and Chargers. One of these two is going to be 2-0. David Carr looked impressive last week beating Dallas. But Jonathan Wells beat Junior Seau, as maybe 500 ball carriers have done throughout his career, Tommy. Corey Bradford tips it. Seau intercepts his pass from Carr. Junior not looking senior at all.
He wants that end zone.
Yes, he does. Down to the 6. Carr, phone home. Meanwhile, Chargers. San Diego
Supercharger.
Curtis Conway, touchdown. 14-0 San Diego. Tom Capers said, we got to block this guy.
Yeah, and Junior Seau, his quickness remains in his game. Look at him get through the line here. They're trying to drive and slide to the right. He's just a little too quick. That's a hit for a loss of yardage. And then Texans down inside their own 10-yard line. And watch Junior again. He times this perfectly. Gets that great start at the line of scrimmage. Comes through. Carr steps up. That looks close to a safety, although they would mark that ball eventually on the 1-yard line.
So he almost had a touchdown and a safety.
That's correct.
Junior. Carr, 1 of 9 in the first half. It would be more Charger defense in the fourth. Then Bat Lieber with the rush. Nails Carr to fumble. Rayleigh Johnson. San Diego Superchargers. They lost 9 in a row to end last year. But under Marty Schottenheimer, they're at 2-0. And they beat the Texans 24-3. Tomlinson, 84 yards running. And again, Drew Brees efficient at quarterback. Certainly the Rams, 0-4 in the preseason, 0-1 regular season, couldn't lose to the New York Football Giants. I mean, Kurt Warner was playing Kerry Collins. But wait a minute, Collins had other ideas. Jeremy Shockey, 28-yard touchdown to the rookie. 10-0, Judy-Man. Next possession, Kenny Holmes tips the pass for Warner. Jason Sehorn's got it. And after a year of battling the injuries, he's in the end zone. 17-0 Giants, 17-7 at the half. Marshall. 44 yards, down to the Giant 8. Here come the Rams. 3rd and goal from the 2. Falk, touchdown. 17-14, the lead is just a field goal. Under 7 to go. Leonard Little sacks Collins. It looks like a fumble, Tom, but wait a minute, it's not.
Well, you take a look at it here. The referee ruled that it wasn't a fumble, rule that his arm must have been in motion, tuck rule, whatever it was. Giants did not lose possession. And then you look the other side, wide open right here and unguarded. Tiki Barber wanting the football. So had he been seen by Collins, you would have had a touchdown for the Giants.
They get a field goal out of it, Thomas, 20-14. 23-14, here come the Rams. Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, 35 yards down to the 20. Now it's 1st and goal at the 8. Falk, he stopped. No, he's not. Oh, man. In the end zone, touchdown, Tom. And now we got ourselves a ball game, 23-21.
And that's why he's the best touchdown maker in the league right now. Great second effort inside the 5-yard line. He can run for speed. He can run for power. He's as elusive as any back that's played the game. Great runner, Marshall Falk.
So now the Giants try to 2nd and 1. Pick up the yard with Ron Dane. They don't. 3rd and 1. Collins short on a sneak. Jim Fossil says, well, I know we're playing the Rams. We're going to go for the field goal. They get it, 26-21, so it's set up. You know what's going to happen. Except it doesn't, because Marshall Falk gets that bounce. And Michael Strahan, who sacked Warner 4 times last year, recovers for the Giants. 3 and out. St. Louis, one last chance. But Will Peterson, one of those young DBs, They did a good job against the Niners. They did a good job against the Rams. Shot. 26-21. The Giants are the team that gets the win. The Rams, defending NFC champs, are 0-2. Now look, New England made the Super Bowl and won it last year at 0-2. Dallas did it in the early 90s when Emmett held out 0-2.
It can't happen.
But it's not likely. It's not likely, although the Rams have the firepower, but they just look out of sync. They're 0-6 if you had the preseason.
Well, I think certainly they're a team that's out of sync, and I think you put it exactly right, especially with their passing game. And Kurt Warner doesn't seem to have the receivers exactly where he wants them. They're not running Marshall Faulk as much as they would like to. But give the Giants credit. Outstanding game today and great balance between Tiki Barber and Kerry Collins.
Collins, 307 to Warner, 266. Surprise a lot? Brian Greasy delivered when it looked like he was going to get yanked last week. The Broncos and Terrell Owens and the Niners. Opening day at Candlestick Park. Jeff Garcia to Owens. It's a pretty play for 8 yards. It's a touchdown, Niners.
Well, it's a combination boom of strength and power. Tyrone Poole right there inside the 5-yard line, but you see that Owens just powers his way right through the defense for a touchdown.
This is Brian Greasy to Ed McCaffrey, drilled by the young rookie, Mike Rump.
You know, you look at this play, Rump, we know he's a big hitter. He comes in there, makes a solid hit. McCaffrey eventually got up. He would continue to play.
7-3 Niners at the half, but here is Mike Anderson playing fullback in the way they line it up. 14 yards down to the 14, and Greasy, play action, flip to Anderson. I mean, he's not really a true fullback. He's beefed up. They got a couple of ways to go out of the backfield. First touchdown the Niners defense has allowed at home since November 11th last year. So down, it's Owens who gets crushed by Kenoy Kennedy, who we saw lay the lumber last week against the Rams. 17-7 now, Denver. Jeff Garcia to Ty Street. Delta O'Neal picks it off. It's marked at the 1. To the Broncos, turn that into a long drive. Greasy to Ashley LeLay, the rookie from Hawaii. Aloha. And then Alandis Gary. 26 yards down to the 22. Greasy to Scotty Montgomery. Touchdown. What an impressive march for the Broncos. All right, Tom, you get to say the score.
24-14, Broncos over the dreaded Niners.
Boom. All right. Very impressive. The Broncos beat the Niners and the Rams in the opening week of the season. They are 2-0. When we return, game balls and an amazing finish. The longest game of the day, the most exciting game of the day. Vikings at home against Buffalo, tied at 13, third quarter. Bills special team. Not again. Dwayne Bates. No! No! It's 61 yards, so they finally catch him. They knock him down at the 3. Danny Smith, the special teams coach of the Bills. They gave up 2 kickoffs last week for touchdowns. He's living a nightmare. Culpepper to Randy Moss. Now it is a touchdown. Wow. 20-13. However, sometimes the worm turns on the ensuing kickoff. Bills special teams. Charlie Rogers. It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. He could go all the way. 90 yards. It's 2020. Great special teams coaching. Now, the Bills up 23-20 late third. Culpepper. Bates. Touchdown. They missed the extra point. Keep that in mind. Doug Bryan missed it. It's 26-23 Minnesota. Aaron Schobel hits Culpepper. Big guy. Pat Williams. Rumbling. Bumbling. Stumbling. But Ron Edwards. Touchdown. Bills lead 30-26 to the chagrin of Mike Miami Tights. Culpepper leads him down. Derek Alexander. 32-30. But for the second time, Viking special teams. Doug Life of Bryan missed the extra point. So it's just a 2-point lead. Now Buffalo driving. To the second round pick goes Drew Bledsoe. Josh Reed. First down. Bledsoe. Fearless Price. To the 1. Travis Henry. Oh, it's a fumble. It's there forever. Bledsoe dives on the ball. Drew. Touchdown! Fearless Price, they don't get the 2, but they lead 36-32. Now it's on the Vikings. Under 2 minutes to go, 3rd and 2. Culpepper to Moss. He bobbles. Holds on. First down, Minnesota. 2 plays later. Culpepper. One-handed catch to Moss. Down to the 3. 2nd and goal. Mo Williams. Touchdown. Actually make the kick. 39-36, 26 seconds to go. So what can Drew Bledsoe do? Remember, he tied it last week with a pass at the end. Josh Reeves holds on. Mike Holland, 54-yard attempt to try to tie it. It's up. It's doink. Good. It's good. Off the crossbar. 54 yards. Doink. It's still good. We're tied at 39. Overtime. Holland from 45 to win. No good. The Vikes still alive. Bills' next possession is their defense home. Bledsoe, Fearless Price, gone! Drew Bledsoe threw for 463 yards, including that one, to win 48 yards to Fearless Price. This team has scored 76 points in 2 overtime games in 2 weeks. Man, the Bills win 45-39. Game ball, Tommy, your turn.
Boom, my game ball goes to Kerry Collins. What a day he had in beating the Rams. 22 of 26, 307, a touchdown, and an INT. He got very comfortable.
All right, look, the Patriots defense scored 2 touchdowns. They don't allow a reception to the wide receiver to the late 3rd quarter. They allow 32 yards rushing. The New England Patriots are 2-0. Well, we did have some. For those celebrating Yom Kippur, have an easy day for all of us here at NFL Primetime. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching. Actually, for the first time since the snow playoff game against Oakland, they were actually favored. Hello! They're playing the way. Paul Revere, Nathan Hale, John Adams, Samuel Adams, with a brew, obviously. Do not fire until you see the whites in their eyes. Well, Kansas City's Trent Green did some firing and Eddie Kennison touchdown. Wait a minute now. Kansas City's coming into Gillette Stadium and leads the champs 10-0, and here's part of the reason, Tom.
And Priest Holmes, what a great runner he is around the corner here. Great combination of speed and power, and he runs with some attitude. There you see him not going out of bounds.
2 plays later, it's Trent Green to Priest Holmes, 17-9. Kansas City in the early 3rd, an upset brewing in Foxborough until Troy Brown and Van the Renown gets involved.
Yeah, you start watching these plays. Great play between Brady and Troy Brown. Most of these passes just outside the pro hash mark. Here again, down the hash mark, and once you set that up, then you get Troy Brown going outside here from the slot position. And again, look at him get the yardage. Tough little receiver, great receiver for the New England Patriots.
Well, at this point, he's got 6 catches, so on his way to a pretty decent day. It would be a record-breaking day. Brady hangs in and he hits Troy Brown for a touchdown. They go for 2, make it 17 all in the 3rd. Last minute, 3rd quarter, Brady. Stanton gets popped, but oh, does this pay off to Brown? He could go a lot of the way. 38 yards, and he keeps finding Brown, setting up a touchdown, 24-17. He-Man. 16 for